Dr. Fauci?
I don't foresee that as 200,000 new cases by June. I am hoping and looking at the dynamics of things starting to flatten off and come down, that we will be much, much better than that, Senator. I mean, I think that's really
Just so I understand, we are right now at 2,000 new infections a day and 25,000 new infections a day and 2,000 deaths a day.
right.
And that's where we are right now.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
So let me just ask, we know that it is possible to get this virus under better control. Other countries have done it, like South Korea, but we are now 3 months into this pandemic, and basically we've continued to set records for the number of people who are diagnosed and the number of people who die. Dr. Fauci, you recently said that a second wave of coronavirus in the fall was, quote, inevitable, but that if America, quote, puts in place all of the countermeasures that you need to address this, we should do reasonably well. And the countermeasures you identified are things like continued social distancing, significantly more testing, widespread contact tracing. You also said that if America doesn't do what it takes, and this is your quote, we could be in for a bad fall and a bad winter. So right now we're about 16 weeks away from Labor Day. That's about the same length of time since the virus was first detected here in the US. Do we have enough robust countermeasures in place that we don't have to worry about a bad fall and winter?
Right now, the projection, as you've heard from Admiral Giroir, with regard to testing and other elements that would be needed to respond, the projection is that by the time we get to the end of the summer and early fall, that we will have that in place. That is the projection that I get.
But we don't have it in place now, but we are projecting that we'll have it in place. And let me just ask the other side of this. If we don't do better on testing, on contact tracing, and on social distancing, will deaths from coronavirus necessarily increase?
Of course, if you do not do an adequate response, we will have the deleterious consequence of more infections and more deaths. And that's the reason why you quoted me, Senator, quite correctly in everything you said, and I will stand by that. If we do not respond in an adequate way when the fall comes, given that it is without a doubt that there will be infections that will be in the community, then we run the risk of having a resurgence. I would hope by that point in time, in the fall, that we have more than enough to respond adequately. But if we don't, there will be problems.
I appreciate your hope, and I wish we could tell the American people that the federal government has this pandemic under control, but we can't. In fact, we have said that the virus is not under control in the US. We haven't yet taken the measures necessary to prevent a second wave of death. And we all know that the people who are going to be most affected are going to be seniors, essential workers, the people who are out on the front lines. The president needs to stop pretending that if he just ignores bad news, it will go away. It won't. The time for magical thinking is over here. President Trump must acknowledge that the federal response has been insufficient and that more people are dying as a result. We are running out of time to save lives, and we need to act now. So thank you, Dr. Fauci, for all you're doing. I appreciate it, but the urgency of the moment could not be clearer. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Senator Roberts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to all the witnesses. You all are like the Fab Four. I guess it was a Fab Five back in the day, but we're shining the light of truth in the darkness with individual flashlights for sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for emphasizing that